Hey everyone, welcome back with Bino Mac. Today we once again will compare two titles. This time we're going to check out WWF's first AKI title in 1999 and how it stacks up to WCW's first game from Electronic Arts. If you want to see more comparisons, reviews, and the evolution of the AKI series, please like and subscribe to Bino Mac. Let's break it down. Alright, here we go again with the tale of the tape. WrestleMania 2000 was developed by the AKI Corporation, of course, and released first in Europe on October 12th of 1999. Then in the States on November 18th of 1999. And finally Japan almost a year later on September 15th of 2000. Of course, like all AKI titles, WrestleMania 2000 was exclusive to the Nintendo 64 and sold around a total of 1,140,000. WCW Mayhem was the first World Championship Wrestling game developed by EA after dropping the THQ license. Mayhem was based off of the pay-per-view of the same name and released on both PlayStation and Nintendo 64 on September 23rd in North America and a day later in Europe. Mayhem sales totaled around 1.22 million for PlayStation and 0.79 million for N64. All in all, not bad, honestly. Everyone watching this likely knows the AKI gameplay style at this point, but I'll explain it anyway. The AKI games are known for their legendary grapple system. Tap A for weak grapples, hold A for strong grapples, tap B or B and a direction for a weak strike, and hold those buttons for strong strikes. Hold R to block or reverse and pick up down opponents. Press L to avoid grapples and go for pins. Flick the analog stick in any direction to taunt, and finally, to apply a finisher. Strong grapple in any position such as the front, the rear, turnbuckle, top rope, and Irish whip rebound. It's a simple style, but it's difficult to master. The reversal timing is difficult to learn, and you need to play as though it's a real-life match like on TV. Start off with weak moves that wear down the opposition until you can end the match with some big moves when your opponent is tired out. Build your momentum from green to orange until it blinks. Taunt, then you can use your finisher for a brief time in any of the positions mentioned previously. The animations are smooth, moves are plentiful, and controls feel very responsive. Mayhem tries to seemingly replicate the AKI style, but to a simpler degree. You have 4 attack options. 3 are strikes, but 1 activates a grapple. Then you can access 4 attack options. You can press the grapple button or any of the 3 strikes options to do moves while in a grappled state. Pressing up or down will change the move you execute. You have a total of 12 move options while in a grappled state. Tapping the strike button does a weak strike, while tapping a strike button and a direction does a knockdown move. Momentum works similar to Mania 2000. You start with a base of 3 bars. Successfully pulling off and reversing moves build momentum bars until you reach a full 8. Once all full, another move will have a blinking light around all your bars that signals you can pull off your signature move. Sometimes though, this doesn't last so long, so it's tricky to pull off a finisher. To do so, grapple, then flick the analog stick like you would in an AKI game. Mayhem was the first wrestling game to allow you to access backstage areas. There are 13 areas that amount to just being big squares with different textures. Weapons will always be littered on the floor, however, and sometimes people will be waiting backstage to either help or hurt you. It's novel, but it's an awesome feature for its time. Most people's biggest gripe with Mayhem is its physics. Sometimes moves don't always connect. The move animations are also pretty choppy, and things come across as stiff. That said, there was a lot of potential here, and a solid base for a future game if expanded upon, and focus was made to make the gameplay feel more smooth. Both games have a decent amount of match options. Mayhem features a quick play option for an immediate one-on-one match, But in main event mode, you can choose from singles, handicap, triangle, four-way dance, battle royal, and tag team matches, with singles allowing for hardcore rule options such as pin anywhere or even Raven's rules. There was meant to be a cage match included, but unfortunately it was cut before release. WrestleMania 2000 features similar match types. Exhibition lets you play singles, tag team, triple threat, and cage match options. You can also add on the First Blood modifier if you choose to do so, along with the option for a Royal Rumble mode. Similar matches where both games allow you to edit the rules to create a mix of win conditions and weapon matches. Both games feature halfway decent graphics for the time. Mayhem reminds me of Warzone and Attitude, where it takes a more realistic approach to the wrestlers. I think it works out well, and you can definitely tell who is who for the most part just by the faces alone. The models do look strange though, and always have had a weird pose with their arms hanging forward. No one knows why this is. All they had to do was turn their hands so their thumbs face up and it would look a lot more natural. WrestleMania 2000 has a much more cartoony look to it by comparison. The models, to me, look more like action figures, and the cartoon facial likenesses bring that point home for me. Mayhem features a plethora of arenas with pretty much every WCW event at the time, including Monday Nitro, Thursday Thunder, Saturday Night, Sold Out, Great American Bash, Halloween Havoc, Spring Stampede, Bash at the Beach, Road Wild, Starrcade, and more. WrestleMania 2000 has considerably less arenas, but they still all look great. You have all the biggest events at the time for the WWF, including Raw's War, Sunday Night Heat, the Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, WrestleMania 15 modified into a makeshift WrestleMania 2000 arena, and Survivor Series. Mayhem's entrances aren't too bad for the time. They have a ring announcer, which is awesome, and he always specifically points out the arena every time as well, which is pretty cool.
Good evening, wrestling fans. All of the stars of WCW are here tonight at Halloween Havoc. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe what we have in store tonight on Thursday Thunder. Your attention, wrestling fans. All of the stars of WCW are here tonight at Sold Out.
Once again, they remind me of the Acclaim games like Warzone. The wrestler comes out, does a taunt on the ramp, stands there for like 5 seconds, then walks into the ring for one last pose in his corner. Usually being cut off though for the next wrestler's entrance or the match starting. Sometimes though, the wrestlers walk right past the camera and it can't keep up, which makes it crack up almost every time. Finally, with Mania 2000, you have full entrances with lighting, pyro, and Titantrons that also play on the big screens on Raw and Heat. Similar style though in the sense that wrestlers pose on the ramp, then do their signature taunts in the ring as well. The final feature in this section is commentary. Mayhem on the N64 features Tony Schiavone only.
They're rolling all the way back to the backstage area. Irish whip. This is just degenerated into a street fight on the runway. This is just a total demolition in the ring.
But the PS1 version has both Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
This is unbelievable. He's looking like he's about ready to go down.
That's not the way the Brain would have done it, but it was effective and it'll work.
been thoroughly beaten in this match. How much more can he take? I've never seen such a beatdown in all my years.
He's in the driver's seat. His opponent has yet to do anything meaningful.
Not bad at all, once again for its time. It's strange to me how the PS1 era was so much better than most of the early PS2 era commentary. WrestleMania 2000 is missing commentary completely, however. But next up are the rosters. The rosters were based on both companies during 1999. They even have a tiny bit of overlap. World Championship Wrestling had begun to go downhill around the time, but still had an all-star cast. Main event talent was still prevalent in Mayhem with legends of the industry like the Steiners, Bret the Hitman Hart, Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Chris Benoit, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Macho Man Randy Savage, Booker T, Rey Mysterio, and some of the best of WCW's cruiserweights and mid-card like Dean Malenko, Alex Wright, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, Disco Inferno, and much more. New wrestlers absent from last year's game, WCW NWO Revenge, include stars like Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, Bam Bam Bigelow, Ernest the Cat Miller, Horace Hogan, Liz Mark Jr., Norman Smiley, Steve McMichael, and a few more. This game is the return of Ric Flair to the WCW games on N64. They even have two versions of Sting that represent his Wolfpack and Classic Crow gimmicks. WrestleMania 2000, of course, features the best of WWF's roster at the time, with Hall of Famers like Stone Cold Steve Austin, the People's Champion, The Rock, The Game Triple H, Mick Foley and a few of his other gimmicks, The Big Show, The Phenom, The Undertaker, The Big Red Machine, Kane, X-Pac, Mr. Ass Billy Gunn, the Road Dogg Jesse James, the World's Most Dangerous Man Ken Shamrock, the Hardy Boys Matt and Jeff, Edge, Christian, D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry Sexual Chocolate, The Godfather, Val Venus, The Big Boss Man, and many, many more. The only overlap was Chris Jericho, who left WCW in early 1999 and then debuted in the WWF in August. So they were able to add him as a last-minute addition in WrestleMania 2000. We were truly spoiled with talent in 1999, regardless of the company. Which game do you think had the better wrestlers? WrestleMania 2000 was the first Aki title to have a full season mode. Road to WrestleMania starts in April. You compete every week until you eventually work your way up the ranks of the WWF, winning titles and unlocking wrestlers along the way. The official way to complete it is by winning the Royal Rumble match, and then winning the WWF title at WrestleMania, regardless if you already had won it at SummerSlam. Not winning the Royal Rumble while being World Champion will see you stripped of your title for no good reason, and not being able to win it back for some reason. Difficulty is decently high, and you are unable to select which difficulty you want to play on for some reason, making it the only Aki game you are unable to do so. WCW Mayhem follows in the footsteps of previous WCW games. Quest for the Best is a simple mode where you choose anyone you want, choose a difficulty, and then beat every opponent one after the other until you become champion. Completing this mode on certain difficulties and weight classes will unlock you more superstars. Some are just managers like Jimmy Hart or Eric Bischoff, while some are previously mentioned legends like Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton. People often criticize Quest for the Best, but honestly, it isn't any different from what any other games were doing at the time. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Both games offer the creation of a wrestler, but in different ways. In Mayhem, you can choose from template designs or use a decently detailed appearance editor for the time. You can't change any of the colors though, sadly. You can edit personality traits such as fighting style and crowd orientation. Pick another wrestler's moves, theme, and then set up some attribute points. That's all she wrote. In WrestleMania 2000, you can create up to 16 wrestlers, name them, give them themes and Titantrons, edit more options like hair, face, beard, clothes, moves, fighting style, allies, enemies, and even the ability to copy any of these from or onto other superstars. You can transfer created wrestlers to a memory pack and swap them with friends in the data mode. WrestleMania 2000 was the first Aki game with a creator wrestler, so some kinks needed to be worked out. For example, you cannot create women. Also, you are able to use power moves as weak grapples. Regardless, it's well loved today, but it wasn't the only creation option in 2000. You also have a limited create a belt mode. Name a title, choose a design of one of the 8 preset WWF title templates, and defend the title while the game keeps track of all the records. Both games were first when it came to this feature, and they seemingly had opposite implementations. Both games offer extra content other than just their single-player campaigns. WrestleMania 2000 allows you to play through King of the Ring tournaments, where you can put titles on the line. 3 to 16 entrants are possible with both single and tag team options. Pay-per-view is also available for WrestleMania 2000. You can set up to 15 matches. You have the option of putting up titles or grabs, but you won't be able to defend them in other modes until you delete the pay-per-view. You can name non-title matches as well if you want, and finally, you can have up to 3 pay-per-views saved at a time. In Mayhem, you have a similar setup, but instead of custom pay-per-views, you can input passwords to replay real-life pay-per-views at the time. During TV broadcasts and pay-per-views, WCW would put up codes you could input into the game to recreate the event. Unfortunately, the ever-changing rosters and seemingly lack of interest put a stop to this feature very quickly. You can still find some pay-per-view passcodes online though if you want to try this mode out, but the option to create your own pay-per-views would have likely worked out much better. Well, that's all for today. Feel free to share your thoughts down below. Do you think Mayhem had potential? If enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing to Beano Mac for Aki content like reviews, more comparisons, and rankings every Sunday. Above all else though, please remember to have a nice day.